Rather than talking around the subject, as I think we've been doing here, I think it would be helpful to the listener and to me if we could have a sentence, perhaps, that sums up what faith is.
Faith is a response to the revealing God, the response of the whole self in the presence of the God who reveals himself.
In the United Kingdom, just today, we passed 100,000 people who've been killed by the virus. I'm not the one here who is claiming that this is being supervised, that somebody is watching this, somebody knows that this is occurring, and somebody's allowing it to occur.
We're in no position to say definitively there is no morally justifiable reason for this particular evil, because we need a godlike perspective on all of space and all of time in order to make that claim.
At some point in the future, you could build extremely powerful computers with gazillions of beings with experiences like ours in them. With overwhelming probability, we would be in the simulation.
I used to build simulations, so I've thought a lot about them. You know, behind the simulation, there's usually a purpose for the simulation. There's usually some mind, building the simulation. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the mind behind a simulation that we could be in.
Let's go as deep as we can and try to work out whether the universe that we see is the sort of place that looks kind of thrown together at random, or whether there is something remarkable about the way the universe is at its most fundamental level.
This is not a scientific question. It's just not a question that we know how to address with science. And you can certainly ask for an explanation, but it won't be a scientific explanation.
The transition from the earliest microbes to what we see today, of course, it's an enormous amount of complexification, but it's got nothing on that first step of going from a mishmash of chemicals to the first living thing, because almost all the complexity in the biosphere is in the individual organisms.
The naive scenario of everything was just kind of a random mess, we have to chip away at that and ask, how naive or how messy or how random was the rough cut, was the starting toolbox?